Hello, thank you for joining me, Nancy, with North Star Ministry. I'm back. I was gone for a couple of days because I was visiting someone who near and dear to my heart. I could probably count on one hand the number of people that have ever been really true and blue and just completely honest, not fake, not false in any way, just direct, just really, just open about everything and transparent. And this was one of those dearest people to me, to my heart. And she's fighting for her life right now. So I, extended my healing energy and held her hand and was by her side. And I love her so much. So, so I pray for her recovery. And, but I had to come back. My son also needed some assistance. He had an accident. So there were a few things, but anyway, the Lord had been pressing upon me to tell my story and tell my testimony, give my testimony and let people know what the Lord had done for me. So I'm happy to do that. It's a privilege and an honor to be able to do that. Somebody who's come through it, somebody who's healed through all the narcissistic abuse. I've been through it, in my life, and I want to let people know that there's hope. I want to let people know that you can be strong, that you can reach deep down within you and pull out all of the resilience that you don't even know you have. Really, sometimes you don't even know you have this within you until you actually go through something and you realize, wow, I'm stronger than I thought I was. I never would have known if I hadn't had gone through this situation. So it brings me great joy to be able to share with you, and I'll continue to share. I'll be looking for speaking opportunities to share my story of faith in the Most High God, an eternal creator. He's very real. He's there, the very source of everything, the eternal creator, the source of all energy, all power, unconditional love, where there's mercies and forgiveness, and where there's strength and joy and the peace that surpasses all understanding. I mean, he has it all, where there's justice. I'm going to talk about that for a moment. There's true justice. These dark demonic forces out there that think that they can get away with stealing and thieving. And there's a lot of narcissistic abuse within those secret societies. I want to talk about that for a moment because I've been through it. They really push you and kind of bully you. And it's all about bullying tactics. It's all about illusions, creating illusions and trying to trip you up by manipulations and thinking that because when you're an empathic person, when you have an energy signature that says that you are, very kind, very gracious and giving of your time and loving and merciful and understanding. And a lot of times people misconstrue that because they never take the time to get to know you, really. They don't even care about that. They're very shallow. Most people, in that way are shallow. They never even stop to think or consider, how is it that a person arrived at being that way? And largely it's due to having gone through it. When you're forged in the fire, you come out a certain way of being patient, teaches you patience, teaches you understanding. Just like Jesus, he's here, he's tempted on all points as we are, but without sin. He'd understood, so people that are patient and kind, oftentimes it's because they've understood and they've been there, and they truly see the intrinsic value in all human beings, because everybody has their own path. Everybody's working at their own pace, learning their own lessons, evolving at their own rate, and following, what they feel in their heart and believe to be their truth, and it's all working towards the same goal. It's ascension, it's evolution of the soul. It is reaching a certain point of understanding about who you are, reaching a point of inner understanding of your higher consciousness and your higher self, and being able to see things from a higher perspective. So you have a broader way of understanding. You're more well-rounded, especially depending on the number of situations you've encountered, the number of circumstances, the number of challenges you've gone through in your life. You can come out to be a real well-rounded individual with some wisdom that can help others. And especially at a time like this when the world is very dark. I want to be able to be there to be a source for good, um, maybe, a source of inspiration in some way, a source of lending a helping hand or being in a position to offer possibly some good advice or a little bit of counseling. You don't have to have a degree in counseling. If you've gone through it, you have a degree in counseling, put it that way.